Regret. Regret is one of the quietest emotions we carry and one of the heaviest. It doesn't always arrive with drama or tears. Often it shows up as a small tightening in the chest, a thought that revisits you at night, a moment you replay differently than it actually happened. Regret tends to live in the background, whispering instead of shouting. For many people, regret becomes deeper toward the end of life. I've seen this again and again. People sorting through what they wish they'd said, what they wish they'd done differently, and what they wish they'd had the courage to choose. Some regrets are large and obvious, and others are small but persistent, the ones that stayed unfinished. Watching that shaped me. Along the way, I made a quiet decision for myself. I wanted to try to live without regret, not in a perfectionistic way, and not as a guarantee, but as an intention. I wanted to live consciously, to make choices with awareness, to listen to myself as honestly as I could. The hope wasn't to eliminate regret entirely, but to reduce the weight of it. And in many ways, that has been true for me. Living with intention does tend to soften regret. When you make decisions thoughtfully, knowing why you choose what you choose, there's often more peace afterward, even when things don't turn out quite as we hoped. Still, if I'm completely honest, I do have one thing I'd like a take back for. Just one. It's not something I broadcast. It's not something I dwell on constantly, but it exists. And over time, I've learned how to hold it with more gentleness. I've learned to remember that I made the best choice I could at the time with the information, capacity, and emotional awareness I had then. That doesn't erase the regret, but it changes how it lives inside of me. Regret does not mean you failed. Often it means you cared. It means you're capable of reflection. It means you can see with distance and clarity that another path might have been possible. Regret usually isn't about wanting to undo your entire life. It's about wishing you had known then what you know now. But we never do. Regret has a way of pretending that past you should have present you's wisdom. That's an impossible standard. At the time a choice was made, it was shaped by what you knew, what you feared, and what you hoped for, and what you were capable of holding. Judging that moment with today's awareness is tempting and deeply unfair. Many people carry regret because they believe it means they chose wrong. But often, regret simply means the outcome mattered. There's a difference. Some regrets come from action, words spoken too quickly, choices made under pressure, moments where emotions overrode intention. Other regrets come from inaction, things not said, chances not taken, truths kept quiet too long. Both can ache in similar ways. What makes regret particularly painful is how personal it feels. No one else can fully carry it for you. It belongs to your inner world. And because of that, people often try to manage it alone, believing it's something they should resolve privately. Sometimes regret carries something heavier with it. Shame. The sense that the moment says something painful about who we are, not just what happened. Regret remembers the moment. Guilt measures the impact. Shame questions the self. But regret doesn't resolve through punishment. It resolves through understanding. When regret is met with harsh self-judgment, it tends to deepen. When it's met with curiosity and compassion, it tends to soften. That doesn't mean excusing harm or dismissing impact. It means acknowledging the full extent of who you were at the time. The most helpful shifts I've seen and experienced is moving from, I should have known better, to, I didn't know better yet. That single word, yet, changes the emotional tone. It acknowledges growth without erasing responsibility. It allows regret to become information rather than a sentence. Living with intention doesn't eliminate regret. It changes your relationship to it. When you live consciously, you're more likely to remember why you made certain choices. Even when those choices led to pain, you can often trace them back to values you were honoring at the time. Safety, love, loyalty, survival, hope. That context matters. And even then, regret may still exist. That's part of being human. What matters most is how you carry it. Some people try to outrun regret by staying busy. Others try to reason their way out of it. Some turn it inward and let it shape how they see themselves. None of these responses are unusual. Regret is complex and it doesn't follow a straight line. What helps is having a place where regret can be spoken aloud without being corrected or reframed. A place where you can say, I wish I had done this differently, and not be told to move on or to look on the bright side. Regret needs room, not to take over, but to be acknowledged. Often, when regret is allowed into the open, it loses some of its sharpness. It becomes something you can hold, rather than something that holds you. Over time, many people find that regret doesn't disappear. Rather, it integrates. It becomes part of their story without being the headline. It informs future choices. It deepens empathy. It sharpens awareness. In some cases, it even clarifies what matters most now. That doesn't make regret a gift. It simply means it doesn't have to be a life sentence. If you're carrying regret, whether from something you did, something you didn't do, or something that didn't turn out the way you hoped, you're not alone in that. Regret is one of the most common experiences people bring with them into quiet moments, transitions, and endings, and it deserves care. At Hold, we offer confidential, judgment-free listening for people who need space to sort through experiences like this, not to absolve or advise, not to rush towards acceptance, but to give regret somewhere to land, where it can be understood rather than suppressed. Living without regret may not be possible, but living with regret honestly, gently, and consciously is. And sometimes that's enough.